Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Tuesday, June 6th, and we are continuing to talk about the Holy Spirit and how the Holy Spirit empowers us and impart those spiritual gifts on us. So in order to give you that background, in case you didn't see yesterday's video, I suspect that this week's videos are going to be they're going to really build upon one another. So if you didn't see yesterday's video, I really highly recommend that you go check it out before you watch this video, because they're going to really build upon each other, kind of like a Lego tower. But in John 14, 16, and 17, which we read yesterday, it says, "And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper to be with you forever." So what do we know about the Holy Spirit right here? First of all, we know he's a helper. Secondly, we know he's with us forever. And thirdly, we know that the Holy Spirit was given to us by the Father. That's the information we've got right there. Even the Spirit of truth. Now that's another quality. We know he's the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive. Now we know the world can't understand this because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him, for he dwells with you and will be in you Now, keep in mind, Jesus is talking to the disciples here. He's saying the Holy Spirit dwells with them. How is the Holy Spirit dwelling with the disciples? Because they're with Jesus, the Holy Spirit is dwelling with them. And he's saying that later, because it's future tense, will be in you. Later, the Holy Spirit is going to be inside the disciples. When does that happen? That happens at Pentecost, and that brings us straight to Acts chapter 2. And this starts on verse 1. When the day of Pentecost arrived, they were all together in one place. Now, it wasn't just the disciples. There were quite a few people there. And suddenly, there came from heaven a sound like a mighty rushing wind, and it filled the entire house where they were sitting. Now, this is a very obvious thing, this sound like a rushing wind. Have you ever, if you've ever been through a hurricane, you could hear the wind whistling outside of your house. That it's louder than that. It's a mighty rushing wind. And divided tongues of fire appeared on them and rested on each of them. Now think about what it would be like to be there in that moment. You hear this rushing wind, and then you see this flame sit on each person's head. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit. This is where the Holy Spirit goes in them, and began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. Now, I'm not saying that you have to have tongues in order to have the baptism of the Holy Spirit. However, it is a very profound evidence of that. But there are many very strong believers, strong prayer warriors who do not get that gift of tongues. They have other gifts. I'm thinking of a very close friend of mine. She is incredible at dream interpretation and vision interpretation. And when I have a dream or a vision, then I don't know what it means. She's one of the first people I ask, because she's going to be able to do that. That's a gift from the Holy Spirit. She's definitely got that baptism of the Holy Spirit, but she does not speak in tongues. Verse 5, "Now there were dwelling in Jerusalem Jews, devout men from every nation under heaven. And at this sound, the multitude came together, and they were bewildered, because each one was hearing them speak in their own language." Now stop and think this through. You've got this mighty rushing wind. You've got these flames sitting on top of people's heads. They're speaking in tongues. You've got thousands and thousands of people that have gone to Jerusalem for this big festival, this big event, and they're hearing their own language. You've got hundreds of languages that are coming together in one place, and so many people not understanding each other. And here come these Christians who've just been baptized in the Holy Spirit, and these foreigners are hearing their own language. That's a profound event. There's no way anybody can deny that something special happened here. And they were amazed and astonished, saying, "Are not all these who are speaking Galileans? And how is it that each of us hear his own native language?" And then it gives a list of a bunch of the places where the people were from. We are hearing them telling in our own tongues the mighty works of God. And all were amazed and perplexed, saying to each other, what does this mean? They know God has done something. They know something significant has happened, and they're trying to figure out, how does this all come together? What is the meaning of this? What does it mean? So we're going to be looking at that tomorrow. What happens when you receive the baptism of the Holy Spirit? What happens when you receive those spiritual gifts? And what is that like? Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.